Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 9th of December. So, what we've got in store for today, well, I've brought up the calendar and we've had it. Just a bit of Chinese inflation there. We do have a few other things going on actually, to be fair. We've got Bank of England Governor, Ramsden rather, speaking at 1 o'clock. Eurozone budgetary meetings too. I don't think that's going to hit the markets too much by any stretch of your imagination. So it's not a great deal until tomorrow when we've got we start things in proper with the Australian Reserve Bank of Australia meeting. Cash rate is the key thing coming out from there, and of course the statement to intentions going forward. Expectation is that they're going to leave things alone, and I would imagine the expectation is that they're going to leave things alone and not do anything for quite some time. Aside of that, it's a really old quiet day next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We've got a bit of inflation coming out there on Wednesday. Bank of Canada's interest rate and conference on Wednesday, Thursday. Friday we've got a GDP for the UK that doesn't really hit too hard. It's a monthly number. The Thursday SNB, so it's Swiss National Bank on Thursday, and Eurozone. That's the biggie this week then. The ECB meeting there. Okay, so something to look forward to on Thursday. Right, but before then we haven't got a great deal. Now looking technically at the markets then, we'll start off euro dollar, and well, Friday it did pitch into the monthly pivot. Now it has in doing so given us a little higher low. Now on that basis, as much as this is looking quite soft, and we might get opportunities during the day, we'll see what happens, but at the moment this current 4-hourly bar is pretty positive. And it's trying to close above its new weekly pivot. It's all a bit of a mess at the moment, but it could be that I'll come back to the dailies there, that I look for a break of this trend line that's coming across here. Now it might happen today, might happen tomorrow, we'll see how we go, but that could be a bit of the line in the sand. It's just then looking like a bit of a bear flag that's rolling over. But patience needed on that one. The pound, same sort of picture. We closed there below the new monthly pivot. It's bouncing at the moment and it's coming off. We've got to be careful, don't get just focused on one direction here. A move back above this, I mean, again, we put the higher lows in, so it could be that we're actually going to get a bit more of a move up here. Certainly on this 4-hourly time frame you can see the higher low in there, but also you can see the price action has been whilst consolidating at time for the long side. Now actual entries on this at the moment, I don't have a specific entry, but I will look at it as it breaks the daily pivot there. Right, US dollar yen. It's all gone a bit weird here, consolidation effectively, and it makes it difficult to work out really where it's going. It's sort of hinting towards the downside, but we've just seen it push back up towards the 50. It's a mess. It was in that sort of wedge pattern or triangle pattern that was there last week, and it's broken to the top, it's broken to the bottom. It's bit unclear at the moment, so I should step aside for now. We'll look at it later during the morning. It just sometimes you just get a decent move coming from it. Australian dollar. Friday this ended up pretty much close to previous lows. We do need to come back out to look at it on a weekly basis here, just so you can see what's actually happening. I mean, it has been in this decent downward trend. We'll see how it continues, but catching a bit of a bounce on the very short time frame here. we could be looking at the weekly pivot and look for a reaction again off that. It did it quite nicely last week. It just pulled up there, eventually turned round off the weekly pivot, ran on through, and it's actually went right the way through its S1, S2. I'll be looking at that as something to be looking for. At the moment though, it's put this little higher low in, it makes it quite messy. So there's not an immediate rush on anything there. US dollar CAD, spiky old action, managed to close up pretty decently on Friday. Well, the dollar closed up pretty decent on Friday. CAD's effectively softening as we've seen it pushing up here. I could take out that alert at some point this morning. We back up to the recent highs there. We'll see what happens. I'm not that keen on taking the breakout. I have to keep coming back to the bigger picture here, and you see we've taken out all the previous highs, and well, it looks like it could continue to the upside. Short term, there'll be some divergence with the price action over the tops here. Maybe if it breaks the low between those two highs, we could see it coming off further, maybe even all the way back to its daily pivot, but it's not looking the best at the moment at all in terms of what's happening. The overall picture still relatively bullish. New Zealand dollar, normally very similar to the Aussie. I'll come out a step and you can still see we're hanging around near the lows here, previous lows. Realistically, we've broken these near-term lows, but we could move the bottom line there down a little bit. It's just there was a lot more hits on the previous level, but if we drag that down, that's where it's really bounced off of. It's just in a range effectively. Nothing particularly clear at the moment. It's catching a bounce this morning at the moment. Already hit the S1. We pivot, maybe back down again. Not the clearest. It is going quite strongly, as is all the markets at the moment. The dollar just taking a little bit of a hit right this moment as I'm recording this. US dollar Swiss here. Well, we're not going anywhere with this at the moment. It's stalled. Just coming back off again. Actually, it might look quite nice as we run through. The previous week we got a decent run through, rallied in the early part of the week, and then rolled over again. We've taken out the lows between, giving us a lower high. It does look a bit softer. I just don't like the doji bar on the close on Friday. But aside of that, maybe if it breaks the 200 moving average here, we could be looking for something more. Just need a bit of a confirmation in terms of where it has, because on the short term it has put the higher lows in, but overall it looks on the softer side. Couple of cross pairs, euro yen, got caught into moved into a long on Friday, but post news it ran into its weekly pivot there and rolled back. It was a smidgen away from my target actually. Anyway, it did what it did there. It rolled over later. Could have closed it earlier, but sometimes just leave these things. Today, well, it looks at the moment quite a solid move up there. The yen's really rolling over. The euro's still pushing against the dollar, and this combination looks like it's got potentially further upside. Okay, not a lot to add there. Euro likes the euro CAD. Actually, let's just look at the euro Aussie. We had potential there last week, and it's looking like it's okay. It's come off a little bit this morning, but it's broken. It's got this inverted head and shouldery pattern going on, which it's pushing on through. It's a bit ugly. You can barely see it on the 4 hourlies. It's just about make it out on the higher time frames, but it does look like, well, this could continue to push upwards at the moment. Euro CAD, that's the Euro CAD. I had the Euro Aussie a moment ago. Let's go back to that. What's that up to? Flick between the two. Euro Aussie, okay, coming off at the moment. Okay, this could be interesting off its new weekly pivot. So I'll be watching for the new weekly pivot to see if there's any opportunities coming in there. It's also there's a quarterly pivot around this level as well, which might provide some support, as done previously, but we'll see. It's quite a nice move. It was a bit of a head and shouldery pattern coming out of here, so I just drew the neckline on there last week, and well, it did push on through and continue. Just looks softish where it is at the moment. It's technically very nice in some of the patterns we're seeing at the moment, just coming off. I'd rather be on the long side of this, and it's sort of made it quite a mess. And it's just, I was just looking at entries. People ask me, well, what entry will you take? Not from here is the answer. The bigger move up at the moment, it's put a lower high in, so it's made it difficult for me to, on the shorter time frame here, to go dashing into buying into a quarterly pivot, or the weekly pivot here even. But I'll need some corrective price action coming off that to show there's some support. So basically that's what I'm looking for there, but nothing's actually setting perfect. If you catch them right in the afternoons, they're okay, but the morning sessions seem to be quite choppy. Yeah, it's started moving at the moment, but it's not. All the uncertainty, we could see a continuation to the upside as people buy gold, but not the most nicest looking charts. Talking of which, look at oil here. It was in a triangle pattern, very risky patterns. Triangles, don't like them. It has broken to the downside, but now coming back in and coming to the underside of the weekly pivot. It did come off quite strongly in the end last week. This will be interesting later on, maybe this afternoon, to see if we can get a move off it. It might go before the weekly pivot. There's the hourly 50, etc. that's sitting there. Although I find in historically, I know there's a lot of price action around this 4 hourly 50 here, but on the lower time frames, the moving averages have less resistance. But really looking for a reaction into the weekly pivot. As I say, I'll wait patiently for that. Other markets, everything looks, there's a lot of green today on the equity markets, and there we go. We've got the S&Ps running up. Won't be long before it puts new high in, all-time high. Feels like I say that almost every day lately. Had a bit of a retrace into late last week, but rallied thereafter, and well, it looks like it's going to give us another higher low in this current market here. It's already pushing up there. We'll see. Patience would be needed on this because I prefer to trade it through the cash period. Okay, FTSE, seen a bit of a oomph up there this morning. Still in its consolidated zone. It's not the prettiest market to trade at this stage. The previous couple of weeks, bit of movement and then consolidation. And this is no different. Not really seeing anything there. Wouldn't be a choice. The DAX, well, that's continuing to move its way up and up and up past the 20,000 level, and it's just gone up through that and looking positive, but maybe a buy on the retraces. Other than that, there's not a lot going on there for me at the moment. So currency wise, I think likes of it was Euro Aussie, I believe. Just waiting to see what this does here. That's probably the better looking one at the moment for me. I'll see what it does though, but it may be a long time before I can do anything with it. Right, I shall leave it there. I wish you a great day's trading, and I will catch you tomorrow morning. Bye for now. Right.